My name's Tom Wheeler, 39 years old, and I'm just a regular guy from a quiet little town in Ohio. I've been married to my wife, Rachel, for 12 years. She's 37, with sharp green eyes and a laugh that used to light up my days. We've got a daughter, Emily, who's 16. She's Rachel's kid from a guy who took off before I came along. I've been her dad since she was 4, teaching her how to throw a softball, helping her with algebra, the whole deal. And now, Rachel and I are about a month away from welcoming our first kid together, a little girl we're naming Harper. Life's been good, or so I thought. Nice house with a big oak out front, a steady job fixing trucks at the garage, and a savings account I've been padding for years. I figured we were solid. Turns out, I was dead wrong. Last Sunday, I was out in the shed behind the house, putting together a rocking chair for Harper's nursery. It was one of those do-it-yourself kits from the hardware store, hundreds of little pieces and instructions that might as well have been written in another language. I'd been at it for hours, sweating through my old flannel shirt, the shed door propped open to let in some breeze. The kitchen window sits just above the shed, and I could hear voices drifting out, Rachel, her dad, Hank, and Emily. At first, it was just chatter, nothing I paid much mind to. I was too busy trying to figure out which screw went where. Then I heard my name. Tom's been driving me up the wall, Rachel said, her voice tight. I froze, my hands hovering over the half-built chair. I'm not one to snoop, but when someone says your name like that, you listen. She went on about how I was always hovering, how the pregnancy was wearing her down. Fair enough, I thought. She's 8 months along. But then she said something that hit me like a sledgehammer. I don't even like him anymore. Never really did. He's just a steady job with a heartbeat. My chest went cold, like someone dumped ice water down my spine. Hank grunted, like he'd heard it before, and said, once the baby's here, we'll figure out how to ditch him clean. Take the house, the kid, all of it. And then Emily, sweet little Emily, who I'd carried on my shoulders at county fairs, piped up, can I mess with his truck? Maybe cut the brake lines. She laughed like it was a joke, but it didn't sound funny to me. I kept my head down, turning the screwdriver like a robot, pretending I hadn't heard a damn thing. My mind was spinning, though, replaying every moment of the last 12 years, trying to figure out how I'd missed this. When I finally dragged myself inside, they were all sitting around the kitchen table, acting normal. Rachel smiled and asked if I wanted a sandwich. I saw Emily smirk at her plate, and I swear I almost gagged thinking about what she might have done to it. Not hungry, I mumbled, then locked myself in the bathroom and sat on the edge of the tub, staring at the tiles until my eyes burned. I didn't cry, not then. I just felt hollow. That night, I lay in bed next to Rachel, her breathing soft and steady, and all I could think was, she's playing me for a fool. The woman I'd built a life with saw me as a paycheck. The kid I'd raised wanted me gone, maybe dead. And her dad was in on it, plotting to strip me bare once Harper was born. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, feeling like a stranger in my own house. The next morning, I started planning. I wasn't going to let them blindside me. I've always been the one keeping our finances straight. I make decent money at the garage, more than Rachel does at her part-time gig at the library. We've got a joint account, but she's always pushed for her own separate one, saying it was about freedom. Now I knew why. I checked the bank app on my phone while she was in the shower. Sure enough, she'd been siphoning cash into her account for months. Little amounts, nothing I'd catch unless I was looking. Then I dug into her email. Yeah, I know, it's shady, but I was desperate. She'd been buying baby stuff, diapers, a stroller, clothes, and having it shipped to Hank's place across town. She was setting up a whole life without me. I've been walking around like a ghost since then, smiling at Rachel, asking about her day, rubbing her back when she complains about the baby kicking. Inside, I'm screaming. I've started recording stuff, quietly, with my phone in my pocket, every time she talks about Harper or money. I've got an appointment with a lawyer next week, a guy my buddy at work swears by. I'm taking pictures of every receipt, every text she sends me about working late, when I know she's at Hank's. And Emily, God, it kills me. She asked me yesterday to help her with a school project, all big eyes and smiles, and I had to choke down the urge to ask if she'd rather sabotage my truck instead. Right now, I'm just trying to hold it together. Harper's coming soon, and I'll be damned if I let them take her from me. They might think I'm just a walking wallet, but I'm not going down without a fight. I don't know how this ends yet, but I know one thing. I'm done being the idiot who didn't see it coming. I'm Tom Wheeler, still 39, still stuck in this mess I call my life. It's been a week since I overheard Rachel, Hank, and Emily tearing me apart in the kitchen while I was out in the shed wrestling with that rocking chair. 7 days of pretending I'm still the clueless husband and dad they think I am. 7 nights of lying next to Rachel, feeling her warmth against my side, knowing she's counting the days until she can cash me out. I'm not sleeping much, maybe an hour here or there before the nightmares kick in. In one, I see Emily pouring sugar in my truck's gas tank, laughing while the engine sputters. In another, Rachel's handing Harper to Hank, telling me I'm done. I wake up sweating, check the clock, and start the whole charade again. This morning, I was up before the sun, frying eggs in the kitchen like nothing's wrong. Rachel waddled in, her belly leading the way, and smiled at me. You're the best, Tom, she said, grabbing a plate. I nodded, kept my eyes on the skillet, wondering if she'd say the same to Hank later. Emily shuffled in next, hair a mess, asking if I could drive her to school because she missed the bus again. Sure, kiddo. I said, forcing a grin. Inside, I was picturing her with a pair of pliers under my truck's hood. I dropped her off, waved as she ran inside, then sat in the parking lot for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. How do you keep loving a kid who'd rather see you crash and burn? Work's been my escape. I'm a mechanic, been fixing trucks at Miller's garage for 15 years. The guys there, Rusty, Dave, the crew, they don't know what's going on, but they can tell I'm off. Yesterday, Rusty caught me staring at a busted alternator like it was a puzzle I couldn't solve. You all right, Wheeler? He asked, wiping grease off his hands. Just tired, I lied. He didn't push, just handed me a coffee and went back to his bay. I spent the day tearing apart engines and putting them back together, something I can control, something that makes sense. Not like my house, where every word's a minefield. After work, I stopped by the bank. I've been moving money around, little by little. Not enough to tip Rachel off, but enough to start a cushion. I opened a new account at a different bank, one she doesn't know about, and redirected part of my paycheck there. I'm not stealing, mind you. It's my money, earned with my own hands. But I know she's got plans for it, and I'm not letting her bleed me dry. I checked her separate account too, hacked into it with an old password she hasn't changed since we met. She's got almost 10 grand stashed away, built up from those sneaky transfers I never noticed. Seeing that number on the screen made my stomach twist. 10 grand she's been hiding while I'm out here buying paint for the nursery and new tires for her car. I've been collecting evidence too. My phone's become my lifeline, recording every conversation I can. I've got one from last night, Rachel on the phone with Hank while I was asleep on the couch. She thought I was out cold, but I heard her whisper, once Harper's here, we'll push him till he snaps. Then we're set. Hank laughed, said, he's too dumb to see it coming. I saved that file, labeled it Exhibit A, and emailed it to myself, just in case. I've got photos too, receipts for the baby stuff she's sending to Hank's, screenshots of texts where she's telling me she's at the library when I know she's not. I even drove by Hank's place last night after she said she was running errands. Her car was in his driveway, lights on inside. I didn't stop, just kept driving, feeling like a fool. Emily's the hardest part. Yesterday, she asked me to help her fix her bike. Tire was flat. Chain kept slipping. We were out in the yard, tools spread out on the grass, and for a minute, it felt like old times. I showed her how to patch the tube, same way I did when she was 10. She smiled, said, thanks, Dad, and I almost broke right there. But then I remembered her voice, can I cut the brake lines? And the moment soured. I finished the job, handed her the pump, and went inside without a word. How do you look at a kid you've raised and not know who she is anymore? Rachel's been extra sweet lately, which makes it worse. She's asking me to pick up stuff for Harper, blankets, a mobile for the crib, acting like we're this happy little family. This morning, she kissed my cheek and said, I don't know what I'd do without you. I smiled back, said, me neither, and hated myself for it. She's got no idea I've got a lawyer lined up, guy named Pete Grayson, recommended by Dave at the garage. Pete's meeting me next Tuesday at a diner outside town. I've got a folder ready, bank statements, recordings, photos. Everything I need to protect myself and Harper. I'm living two lives now. There's the Tom who cooks dinner, asks Rachel how her day was, and reads Emily's English essays. Then there's the Tom who's plotting his way out, counting every penny, watching every move. I don't know how long I can keep this up. Harper's due in 3 weeks, and I can feel the clock ticking. Rachel's probably waiting for the perfect moment to spring her trap, maybe after the baby's born, when I'm too tired to fight back. Hank's likely got the papers ready, and Emily's just along for the ride, dreaming up ways to make me pay. But I'm not going down easy. I've started packing a bag, just essentials, stuff they won't miss. My work boots, a few shirts, Harper's ultrasound picture from the fridge. I've got a plan forming, fuzzy around the edges but getting clearer every day. When the time comes, I'll be ready. They think I'm a steady job with a heartbeat, huh? Well, this heartbeat's about to start pounding back. I'm Tom Wheeler, still hanging on at 39, and it's been 2 weeks since I heard Rachel, Hank, and Emily lay out their little scheme while I was piecing together that rocking chair in the shed. 2 weeks of living like a man with one foot out the door, smiling at my wife and daughter while my guts churn. Harper's due in about 10 days now, and every time I look at Rachel's belly, I feel this mix of love and dread, love for my little girl, dread for what's coming once she's here. I'm still playing the part, but it's getting harder. The mask's slipping, and I'm not sure how much longer I can keep it on. This week's been a slow burn of crazy. Monday, I met Pete Grayson, the lawyer Dave hooked me up with, at a Greasy Spoon diner off Route 12. Pete's a big guy. Looks like he could bench press my truck, but he's got this calm way about him that makes you feel like he's already got your back. I slid into the booth across from him, handed over my folder, bank records, recordings, photos, the works. He flipped through it, sipping black coffee, nodding like he'd seen this movie before. You've got a solid start here, Tom, he said, tapping the stack. Ohio's a one-party consent state, so these recordings are gold. We can build a case, custody, divorce, whatever you want. Just keep documenting. I told him I want Harper safe with me, that I'm not letting Rachel and Hank yank her away. Pete scribbled some notes, said he'd draft something up, and told me to hang tight. Cost me $800 for that hour, but it felt like buying a lifeline. Back home, I've turned into a ghost. I'm there, but I'm not. Tuesday night, Rachel asked me to paint the nursery, soft yellow, her pick. I grabbed the can and roller, spent 3 hours brushing color onto the walls while she sat on the couch texting Hank. I could hear her giggling through the floorboards, probably plotting the next move. I kept painting, pretending I didn't notice, but my hands were shaking so bad I had to redo half a wall. When I finished, she waddled in, said, "Looks great, honey," and kissed my forehead. I mumbled thanks and went to wash up, staring at myself in the bathroom mirror, bags under my eyes, jaw tight. I barely recognized the guy looking back. Emily's been a whole other knife in my chest. Wednesday, she came home from school with a busted lip, said some kid pushed her at practice. Old me would have hugged her, iced her face, called the coach to sort it out. This time, I handed her a bag of frozen peas and asked, "You okay?" She nodded, didn't meet my eyes. I watched her slump onto the couch, and all I could think was, is she playing me too? Later, I caught her in the garage, poking around my toolbox. "What are you doing?" I asked, sharper than I meant. She jumped, said she needed a wrench for her bike. I gave it to her, but my brain was screaming brake lines. She's thinking brake lines. I checked my truck after she left, tires and all. Everything was fine, but I still drove it around the block twice, paranoid as hell. The money game's heating up too. I've shifted more of my paycheck to that new account, about a third now. Rachel hasn't noticed, or if she has, she's not saying. Thursday, I logged into her email again, found a receipt for a crib mattress, shipped to Hank's. She told me she ordered it for our place, even asked me to pitch in $50. I paid her, played dumb, but it's another nail in the coffin. I've started stashing stuff at a storage unit I rented out near the garage. Clothes, my old fishing gear, a box of Harper's ultrasound pics and baby books I've been reading. It's not much, but it's mine, and they won't find it. Friday night was the kicker. Rachel's water broke 3 weeks early. 1 minute we're watching some dumb game show, the next she's clutching her stomach, yelling it's time. I grabbed the hospital bag, drove like a bat out of hell to Mercy General, and 6 hours later, Harper Grace Wheeler was born. 5 pounds, 9 ounces, tiny as a doll with a scream that could wake the dead. Holding her in that delivery room, with Rachel panting in the bed and nurses bustling around, I felt this rush, pure joy, then pure terror. She's here, my daughter, and the clock's ticking faster now. I cut the cord, hands steady for the first time in weeks, and when they handed her to me, I whispered, "I've got you, kid. Always." Rachel smiled, said, "She's perfect," and I nodded, but inside I was crumbling. Perfect, yeah, perfect bait for their trap. Since we got home yesterday, I've been on autopilot. Changing diapers, warming bottles, rocking Harper when she cries. Rachel's been sweet as pie, thanking me, leaning on me, but I hear her talking to Hank when she thinks I'm out of earshot. Last night, I was in the kitchen heating milk, and she was in the bedroom on the phone. "He's doing everything," she said, voice low. "Once I'm back on my feet, we'll move. He won't know what hit him." I stood there, bottle in hand, recording it on my phone tucked in my pocket. Hank muttered something about wearing him down, and I added it to my growing pile of proof. I'm sleeping on the recliner now, say it's easier to get up for Harper's night feedings. Truth is, I can't stomach being next to Rachel, feeling her breathe like nothing's wrong. Today, Hank stopped by, all grins, saying he wanted to see his granddaughter. He clapped me on the shoulder, called me a good man, and I just smiled, thinking, "You've got no idea, old-timer." Emily's been quiet, hovering around Harper's bassinet, but I keep my distance. Every time she looks at me, I see that smirk from the garage in my head. Pete's got my back, and I've got a plan, rough, but it's there. Harper's my anchor, the one thing keeping me sane. I'll play their game a little longer, let them think I'm the tired, devoted dad they can push around. But I'm watching, waiting, and when the moment's right, I'll flip the table. They want to break me? Good luck. I'm already cracking, but I'm not shattered yet. I'm Tom Wheeler, 39, and it's been 5 days since Harper came into the world, turning my life into a tighter knot than ever. She's a little fighter, 5 pounds, 9 ounces at birth, but already gaining, with these big blue eyes that look right through you. I'm head over heels for her, which makes everything else hurt worse. Rachel's playing the perfect mom, cooing over Harper, posting pictures online with captions about our little family. Meanwhile, I'm sleeping on the recliner, recording her whispers to Hank, and trying not to lose my mind. It's like living in a house of mirrors. Everything looks real until you get close, then it's all warped. This week's been a grind. I'm back at the garage part-time, telling Rusty I need the hours to cover baby stuff. Truth is, I need the cash in my new account, up to a couple grand now, and the break from home. Rachel's on maternity leave, so she's with Harper all day, which means Hank's over more. Tuesday, I came home to find him in my kitchen, bouncing Harper like he's her dad. "Just giving Rachel a hand," he said, grinning. I nodded, said, "Appreciate it," and went to change, phone in my pocket, recording. Later, I played it back, him telling Rachel he's wearing thin. "We'll have him out soon." She laughed, said, "He's too busy with that kid to notice." I saved it, added it to the pile Pete's holding. Emily's been a shadow. She's gentle with Harper, changes her, sings to her, but with me, it's all short answers and side-eye. Wednesday, she asked me to take her to the mall for new shoes. I said sure, drove her in silence, handed her $40. She came back with the shoes and a smirk, saying, Thanks, Dad. I didn't ask what the smirk was for, didn't want to know. That night, I checked my truck again. Brake lines were fine, but I found a scratch on the hood, fresh, like someone dragged a key across it. Could have been random, but my gut said Emily. I took a picture, filed it away. I'd been moving more stuff to the storage unit, tools, a sleeping bag, some of Harper's extra diapers I bought myself. Thursday, I rented a cheap apartment across town, a one-bedroom deal with peeling paint and a leaky sink. Paid cash for 2 months up front, told the landlord I'm a single guy starting over. He didn't ask questions. I'm not ready to bolt yet. Harper's too new, too fragile, but it's there, waiting. Pete called yesterday, said the paperwork's ready, custody filing, divorce petition, all backed by my evidence. Timing's up to you, he said. But don't wait too long, she'll move first. I told him I'd let him know, hung up, and sat in my truck outside the garage, staring at Harper's ultrasound pic taped to the dash. Friday night, Rachel threw me a curveball. She said Hank's taking her and Emily to his cabin up north for the weekend, some family time before she's too busy with Harper. You should come, she said, all sweet. I saw through it. Get me out there, away from town, maybe push me over the edge. Can't, I said. Got a big job at the garage tomorrow. She shrugged, didn't argue. Saturday morning, they packed up and left, Harper staying with me. I watched them drive off, Rachel waving, Hank's old pickup rattling down the street. Then it hit me. This was my shot. I spent the day moving. Loaded my truck with the last of my stuff, clothes, Harper's bassinet, a box of her bottles and formula. Took the dog too, Buddy, our mutt, who's been my shadow since this started. By noon, I was in the apartment, setting up a corner for Harper. It's cramped, smells like old carpet, but it's ours. I called Pete, told him to file everything Monday, custody first, divorce after. He said, smart move. They'll be scrambling. I hung up, fed Harper, and sat on the lumpy couch, her tiny head against my chest. For the first time in weeks, I breathed easy. No lies, no games, just me and my girl. They got back Sunday night, and I was ready. Rachel called, confused, asking where I was. I didn't answer, just texted her a picture of the scratch on my truck, nothing else. Let her stew on that. My phone blew up after calls, texts, all the stages. Where are you? To how dare you? To please, Tom, talk to me. I turned it off, rocked Harper to sleep, and planned my next move. They think they've got me cornered, but I'm rewriting the rules. I'm Tom Wheeler, still 39, and it's Monday morning, the day after I ghosted Rachel, Hank, and Emily with Harper and Buddy in tow. I'm in my new apartment, a dingy little place that's starting to feel like a fortress. Harper's napping in her bassinet, Buddy sprawled on the floor, and I'm sipping coffee that tastes like burnt rubber. My phone's still off. Last night's barrage of messages was enough to last me a lifetime. Today's the day Pete files the custody papers, and I'm bracing for the storm. Around 10, I turned the phone back on. 52 missed calls, over 100 texts. Rachel's were a roller coaster, anger, tears, begging. Where's Harper? She finally asked, hours after the first rant. Hank left voicemails, gruff and threatening. You don't get to walk out, Wheeler. We'll find you. Emily's text was short. You're a jerk. I saved it all, more ammo for Pete. At noon, he called, said the custody filing's in, requesting primary custody for me with supervised visits for Rachel. They'll get served today, he said. Expect blowback. I thanked him, hung up, and waited. Blowback came fast. By 3, Rachel and Hank were pounding on my door. Don't know how they tracked me down. Maybe the truck in the lot. I opened it, Harper in my arms, Buddy growling low. Rachel's face was red, eyes wild. You can't take my baby, she screamed. Hank loomed behind her, fist clenched. I stayed calm, said, court's deciding that. You've been served, check your mail. She lunged for Harper, but I stepped back, firm. Don't, I said. Not in front of her. Hank grabbed her arm, pulled her back, muttering about lawyers. They left, Rachel sobbing, Hank glaring. I locked the door, heart hammering, and held Harper tight. That night, I played back recordings for myself of Rachel's voice, cold as ice, saying I'd snap, Hank plotting to ditch me clean, Emily's brake line quip. It's all on a USB drive now, locked in a drawer with the photos and bank stuff. Tuesday, Rachel called, calmer, begging to see Harper. I said, through the court, and hung up. Pete says I'm in the driver's seat, her secret account, the lies, the recordings paint her as unstable. I just want Harper safe, not revenge, the watching them squirm doesn't suck. Emily showed up Wednesday, alone, knocking soft. I let her in, wary. She sat on my couch, eyes puffy, and said, I didn't mean it about the truck. I was mad. I asked why she'd turn on me. She shrugged, said, Mom and Grandpa said you'd leave us broke. I showed her the truck pic, asked if she scratched it. She nodded, tears spilling. I'm sorry, Dad. I wanted to hug her, but I couldn't, not yet. Go home, I said. We'll talk when this settles. She left, and I sat there, gutted. 12 years, and she's a stranger. By Friday, the temporary order came through. I've got Harper full-time. Rachel gets 2 supervised hours a week. She's furious, texting threats, but Pete says it's noise. I'm settling in, work steady, Harper's smiling more. The storm's here, but I'm standing. I'm Tom Wheeler, 39, And it's been a month since I took Harper and bolted to this apartment. The temporary custody order's holding, but today's the big one. Court hearing for something more permanent. I'm nervous as hell, sitting in my truck outside the courthouse, dressed in a button-up I ironed last night. Harper's with a sitter from the garage, Rusty's wife, Linda, who's been a godsend. My hands are sweaty, gripping Pete's folder of evidence like it's a shield. This is it, where I find out if I keep my girl or lose her to Rachel's game. Inside, the courtroom's cold, all wood and echoes. Rachel's there with Hank, both in their Sunday best, her lawyer, a slick guy named Carter, whispering in her ear. Emily's not here school, I guess. Pete's next to me, steady as a rock. The judge, a gray-haired woman with sharp eyes, calls us up. Pete goes first, laying it out. Rachel's hidden money, the recordings of her and Hank plotting, Emily's truck comment, the scratch photo. He plays the audio. Rachel's voice fills the room, calling me a heartbeat with a job. Hank's laugh follows. The judge doesn't flinch, just takes notes. Carter fights back, says I'm paranoid, that I set them up with the recordings. Pete counters, legal in Ohio. No consent needed from them. Carter pivots, claims I'm unfit, too busy at work to raise Harper. Pete pulls out my logs, every feeding, diaper change, doctor visit I've done. Rachel takes the stand, tears flowing, says she loves me, was just stressed. I stare at her, remembering her whispers to Hank. The judge asks if she had money. She stammers, admits it, says it was for emergencies. Hank testifies next, gruff, saying I'm overreacting. Pete asks about his ditch him comment. He backtracks, says it was a joke. I go up last. I keep it simple, tell the judge I've loved Rachel and Emily for years, supported them, but I heard the truth that day in the shed. I just want Harper safe, I say, voice cracking. They can have the house, the savings, I don't care. Just not my daughter. The judge nods, sends us out. 2 hours later, we're back. Ruling. I get primary custody. Rachel gets every other weekend. No supervision needed but strict rules. No child support either way. Her secret stash balances my income. Divorce is pending, but Harper's mine. Outside, Rachel corners me, crying, you're tearing us apart. I look at her, say, you did that. Hank pulls her away, muttering. I drive home, pick up Harper, and hold her till she giggles. That night, Emily texts, I miss you. I don't reply, can't yet. The cracks are deep, but I've got my girl. I'm Tom Wheeler, 39, and it's been 3 months since the courtroom settled things. Harper's 5 months old now, chubby and babbling, ruling my little apartment like a queen. We've got a rhythm. Work, daycare with Linda, nights of me singing off-key till she sleeps. The divorce went through last week. Rachel kept the house, I kept my truck and Harper. Savings got split, but I'm okay. Life's simpler, quieter, and for the first time in forever, I'm not looking over my shoulder. Rachel's changed some. She's on time for her weekends, brings Harper back clean and happy. Last drop-off, she lingered, said, I messed up, Tom. I'm sorry. I nodded, said, yeah, you did, and took Harper inside. No going back, not after the lies, the scratch, Hank's voice in my head. She's trying, I'll give her that. But it's for Harper, not me. Hank's faded, sends toys sometimes, cheap ones with notes about family. I toss the notes, keep the toys. Harper doesn't need his baggage. Emily's the wild card. She's reached out more, letters, calls, showing up once with a drawing for Harper. Says she's sorry that Hank fed her lies about me abandoning them. I believe her. Mostly, she's 16, not evil, just lost. Last week, I let her in, watched her play with Harper. We talked, awkward but real. I scratched the truck, she said, eyes down. I was stupid. I told her I forgive her, but trust's a long road. She nodded, hugged me quick, left. Maybe we'll get there, maybe not. Time will tell. I'm healing too. Joined a dad's group at the park. Guys like me, burned by love but holding tight to their kids. We swap stories, laugh, watch our little ones toddle. Work's good. Rusty gave me a raise, says I'm sharper now. The apartment's home, 2 bedrooms since I upgraded, a yard for Buddy. Harper's first birthday's next month. I'm planning a barbecue. Just us, the crew, Linda's family. Rachel will get her day after. Looking back, I didn't see this coming. Shed to courtroom in a year. I lost a wife, a daughter for a while, a life I thought was mine. But I gained Harper, my anchor, and a chance to breathe free. Rachel wanted a paycheck. She got a wake-up call. Hank wanted control. He's got nothing. Emily's finding her way, and me? I'm Tom Wheeler, dad to a Spitfire, mechanic with a beat-up truck, and a guy who's finally okay being alone. It's not the story I wrote, but it's mine, and I'm damn proud of it.